welcome to another DCU Daily here. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means. We do have a tier list Tuesday for you guys today after the show, as always, usually. Well, not as always, but usually. So we're going to be having that, but first things first, we have to get into DCU Daily. And today we have quite a few things for you today. We got a bit of MovieTalk Madness. Apparently, there is going to be another Mummy movie. But not the one you're thinking of, not Lee Cronin's version, but a certain other one that possible millennials will be very happy about. And then a remake, a very interesting remake from a prolific filmmaker in regards to Stephen King, so we will be talking about that. And then we have a bit of an update in regards to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise, so a bit about that and what this all means going in for Paramount, because outside of their whole cluster F in regards to Warner Brothers Discovery, they are trying to get their foot in the door in regards to IP of the franchises they will have after they don't get Warner Brothers. So, talk about that. And then, of course, MCU Weekly, we have the rumor mill in regards to Avengers Doomsday. We have a little bit of news in regards to Brand New Day. And then our probably biggest story in regards to MCU Weekly is Spider-Noir, the kind of sort of spin-off of Into the Spider-Verse that features Nicolas Cage in live action, coming back maybe as Spider-Man Noir in his own series that takes place in the 30s and 40s. That's going to be a film noir period piece. Very exciting in regards to that. And then, of course, we have our quick hits. We have a bit of behind the scenes, a little bit of casting news, as well as a lot of updates in regards to things that people will not be happy about. So let's get into that. And then, of course, DCU Daily. Not a lot for DCU Daily, mainly quick hits, but you have a couple comic book updates, little fun facts here and there, and then more people wanting to be a part of James Gunn's DCU in regards to a possible update in regards to the DCU SLATE. So, of course, all of that and more after this wonderful news intro. So let's get it started.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding. You're kidding.
I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot, right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
Give
me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow! Wow!
Yellow, everybody. Welcome to DCU Daily, the news portion of DCU Daily. I'm your host, John. Dan is going to be a little bit late coming in today, but that's okay. So you're stuck with me. So I want to talk to the people in the wonderful chat. D. Cole, hello, D. Cole. Monique, usually the earliest. Hello, Monique. Caleb, also in the chat. And then Elite EZ, also in the chat. Hello, everybody. As well as anybody else who is usually not in the chat. That's okay. We still appreciate your viewership. So the first thing that many people are excited about is, of course, the thing that I already mentioned is, in fact, Mummy 4. It seems to be happening as our first installment of MovieTalk Madness. So apparently this has been trying to get off the ground since Tomb of the Dragon Emperor bombed at the box office in 2008, almost 2 decades ago. But even then, people were kind of still clamoring for Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz to come back for the Mummy, even though Maria Bello briefly took over the role in the third film. Rachel Weisz is coming back for her signature role that she appeared in Mummy and Mummy Returns in. in Mummy and Mummy Returns. And then it is going to hit theaters exactly 2 decades after these last Rick and I don't remember her character's name appear it's been 20 years for Brendan, and then it's been even longer for Rachel Weisz. I don't remember when Mummy Returns came out. I think that was 2004. I want to say 2003, 2004. But very exciting for all the people that are fans of this franchise. But they are going to be, and it's gonna not be directed by Steven Sommers for whatever reason. 2001. Damn, I thought it was much later. But it is going to be directed by Radio Silence, and it is going to be written by David Coggeshall, who wrote the recent Marky Mark action flick The Family Plan, as well as the Orphan prequel. And the story is, of course, it's 2 years from now, 2.5 years from now, and the story is not quite released just yet. So Fraser is going to be coming back after the third installment, while Rachel Weisz is going to be coming back after being absent from the third installment. I think either because of a contract dispute or she was pregnant at the time. There's been various different stories on why she did not return, but Steven Sommers will not be coming back, and neither will Rob Cohen, which is kind of good for the latter because he's apparently not a very nice man. But it is going to be directed by Radio Silence. Now, I am kind of iffy on the whole thing because it's funny. I will say it's very funny because I think Radio Silence can direct good movies. I loved Ready or Not. I'm very excited for Ready or Not, Here I Come. And so there's that whole thing, but I didn't like their Scream movie to the point I refused to watch Scream 6. And so it's kind of weird because um but Evelyn, that is her name. Thank you, Monique. And I would imagine that Jonathan is also coming back. But yeah, so it's funny because it's definitely a case of Radio Silence are making another installment of a franchise I don't really care about, because remember, I didn't really care about the Scream franchise. They made a movie so horrifically bad to me that I managed to actually appreciate the rest of the franchise. So maybe it'll happen. I've only seen the first Mummy movie. I think it's like it's fine. It's a perfectly serviceable movie, but honestly, I'm not too I'm kind of indifferent on it because I'm sure like people are really excited for it. Like it's going to be coming out in May of 2028, and I just can't really get excited. Like, I'm excited for Lee Cronin's version. Like, that's the one I'm excited for because that looks like it's different. It's more horror related. I'm very, very excited for that. This I'm kind of indifferent on. Like, okay, they're coming back. Like, I have no like attachment to this franchise. I watched the first one. It's like a solid like 7 out of 10. It's a decent adventure flick, but it's nothing special to me. Like, I didn't find it to be very like interesting in any form, but okay, sure, if people are excited, that's okay. Like, I'm sure there's so many people that are excited for this, so fucking many people that are excited for this. I mean, do we really need any movie? Like, technically all movies are superfluous, but like, I mean, sure, why not? Brendan Fraser, we have a renaissance going on right now, and this is one of the most famous things he ever did, so why not? Why not bring it back? Um so I just know that the first one is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then Returns and Tomb suck. So I don't know. Maybe this will be even better than um I don't know, but yeah, like I prefer my Mummy movies to be creepy and horror related rather than, you know, half-baked adventure film, which the first one kind of is. But exciting, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. But in um that's unlikely, and technically George of the Jungle 2 did already happen. They just recast the whole movie. So, the studio couldn't get Brendan Fraser again. So, the new George went to the cave. Anyway, but yeah, I'm just indifferent. Like at first I was like, "Oh, Radio Silence is directing this," but I'm like, I don't really care about the Mummy. I don't really care about the Brendan Fraser Mummy. It's just like a perfectly okay movie to me. Like it's fine. Like I don't have I'm just kind of indifferent. Like maybe I'll go see it. Maybe like if like it's just one of those cases similar to what Liz says all the time. I'll wait for a trailer. Like maybe I'll watch, in the meantime I'll watch Mummy Returns or with its horrible CGI of The Rock as the Scorpion King, which apparently is not their fault because it was like less than 2 years while the first one had way more time for its effects. And then Dragon Emperor, I think most can agree that that was not very good. And that took even longer to do because that took like 7 years to do. But yeah, I just think Radio Silence, they are Matt hang on. Matt something Matt Bettinelli Open and Tyler Gillette. They've directed a bunch of movies. They've directed the last 2 Scream movies, not Scream 7, that's being directed by Kevin Williamson. They did the last 2 Scream movies. Before that, they did a bunch of the VHS movies. They did Ready or Not, they did Southbound, they did Devil's Due. They did this movie called Phobias. So, as well as a couple other movies, but yeah, the biggest things they've done are the Scream franchise and Ready or Not, which is getting a sequel. I think it's directed by them. I don't know, but also Dan is here. Hi, Dan. You still you got here on the top of the show, so you didn't miss much.
Awesome.
Very exciting.
Hey, thank you. Nice to join everybody. Sorry about that. I just had a really busy day, so I was like, John,
That's okay.
please
That's okay.
take over if you can.
No sleep till Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on The Mummy 4? I'm kind of indifferent, but maybe you're slightly older than me, so maybe you have happier memories of the original Mummy, so maybe you're more excited for this than I am.
Yeah. By the way, hello, Movie Spud, M2G,
Yes,
and everybody
also,
else.
Movie Spud, M2G, welcome
Eric,
to the
Monique.
chat.
Yeah. Figure drawing, Caleb, and everybody.
The Scream guys are doing Mummy 4. The guys who did Scream 5 and 6 are doing this movie.
So my reaction to this was finally, like, they put a stamp of like official approval on this, because remember we talked about this, like, was in the works, was it last year? And it wasn't confirmed. And then Brendan Fraser kept getting asked about it when he was, he did that whole actors on actors thing with Dwayne Johnson. And of course they both have history having both starred in the Mummy franchise. Now it's official. I loved hearing that this is official. I know Liz probably is, like just excited to the moon. Like it's the Mummy 4. I'm glad they're going in this direction because, obviously the whole dark universe thing never quite panned out. And Brendan Fraser's not only having a career renaissance, but Rachel Weisz is also doing amazingly well. So for the both of them to be able to come back, would you have imagined, John, just a year ago, that in 2028, or if you had asked somebody when The Mummy 3 came out, that in 2028 we would have a Mummy 4? It's kind of like it's almost as shocking as when I first heard they were doing another Bad Boys movie, and so I'm really excited for this because I grew up having seen these movies. It's not like they're really high up in my list of nostalgia, but it just takes you back to that time. And I'm not like gonna be watching it because I want to see Brendan Fraser shirtless or anything. I'm just gonna watch it because it's gonna be fun. It's gonna bring the nostalgia in, and then I just want to tell a story that's worth
I'm curious if they're like gonna
the characters
make Tomb of the Dragon Emperor canon because Maria Bello was in the Evelyn role. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think I don't know. I'm just indifferent to it. Like, I don't love the directors. I hate one of their movies, and I really enjoy another one of their movies. I don't. I've
Yeah.
only seen the first one, and I'm kind of like it was like a perfectly fine movie that I don't really remember all
Right.
that much. But yeah. So it's like okay, cool. Like I'm happy for. I know there are so many people that are really excited for this, that are huge fans of the Mummy, and I'm happy for them. That's all I can really say is I'm happy for them. So
Again, look, it's not going to be a movie that's. I don't think they're making this to be like a prestige thing, right? So,
oh right, of course.
And here's the thing: when those guys, Adil Arbi and Bilal Fallah were making the third Bad Boys movie, right?
Fourth,
right.
third,
Fourth?
third,
Was it fourth? Anyway,
well,
like when they were making
fourth.
so when they were making the third one, everybody was like, who are these guys? Or like they hadn't really done much, and it turned out great. So you never know. I mean, it just every director, there's a project out there that is a perfect fit for them, and maybe this might be their first really good one, considering what they've done before. So yeah, I can't wait for this. I know there will be like Universal greenlit this because they know there's going to be an audience for this. I know most of us on the show here would watch it, even if you're not looking forward to it, John. I'm sure you will give it a passing glance at least. So,
oh yeah, like this is like kind of like oh yeah, sure, I get like if it's like coming out on a week, like if it's like
Right.
coming out on a weekend where like nothing is out and like I'm like I want to go to the movies, I'll go to the movies. But if it's like this and like a movie I'm like so excited to see, then I'm gonna go see the movie that I'm really excited. Maybe do a double bill if I have the time. But yes, that is true, 100%. But yeah, I
Absolutely.
just kind of like, all right, cool, great, a movie.
Love to see it. No, look, to me, it's more than a movie, but like you love to see it, and like I said, there's a lot of people out there who are happy that this is now official. So yeah, May 2028, everybody, get ready. It will be here sooner than you think. So yeah.
Yes. Well, if we still exist as a society in 20.
Oh yeah, there's that too. The clock what is it? The Doomsday clock has been moving closer to midnight, closest that it's ever been. So who knows? We are getting Avengers Doomsday this year, so there's that.
Yes, sirree.
I'm sure there's an irony in there.
But in terms of other movies that are making a comeback, is Mike Flanagan. The man just keeps the Stephen King train chugging because Mike Flanagan plans to remake The Mist, another movie for under the Warner Brothers. I think he still has a contract under Warner Brothers. So, because I know he's tried to do stuff with Amazon because I think he's doing the Carrie show for Amazon or miniseries or whatever. So the man just keeps remaking Stephen King movies. Like first, you had Carrie, and now you have this, and this is another thing where I'm like, I'm not indifferent, but I'm not like totally super excited for, because like on the one hand, I love Mike Flanagan, I really enjoy Stephen King's work, but it's like, but at the same time, it's like, Mike, you are very talented. You've shown that you can do really good original movies. Why do you keep going back to Stephen King? And on top of the fact, if you're going back to Stephen King, fucking do something that hasn't been adapted yet. This man has the most prestigious bibliography next to like James Patterson in terms of like the breadth of the enterprise of King. Like you have so much stuff you can adapt. Why are you going back to them? Frank Darabont already did this excellently back in 2007. Like why are you going back to the same river? It just doesn't make sense to me, because it's like, dude, like you can Dark Tower. You've been trying to make Dark Tower happen for a while. Give me Dark Tower. That's what I want to see. That's the Stephen King thing I want to see.
Aren't they doing one of those? Like, wait, aren't they working on a Dark Tower something?
They've been working on a Dark Tower
movie?
because like he has wanted to do a Dark Tower series for a while, and he's been attached for Amazon, but like I guess it's stuck in development hell or something. But it just it just doesn't make sense to me. Like maybe I'll go see it. I will say the original Mist, like I remember watching it the second time and it really fucked me up. So I don't know if I could like sit through it again. And then on top of the fact, the like the famous ending from The Mist, that was not in the original book. So it's just like, what ending are you gonna do? Are you going to go back to the well for the ending that Frank Darabont like fought for? Or are you gonna just do the novel ending, which is not very exciting or interesting? So, or are you gonna do something totally different? So that's why I'm like, I don't know. Um, it's just I want to be more excited for this, but I'm not really. It's just like, buddy, you're part of all these. You're doing Exorcist. You're doing an Exorcist reboot. You're doing Carrie. You're doing this. It's like, give me something we haven't seen yet, like Dark Tower. Like you promised a Dark Tower, and I'm like, I want to see Dark Tower after the fucking god awful movie. Like, give me that, please. So, you know, um, I don't know. It just seems just silly to me, I guess. But sorry, I just needed to say something. But yeah, it's whoa, hang on there. Don't disparage the original Mist is a surprisingly great movie. Like everyone's like, "Oh, it's the ending, it's the ending." But the lead up to that ending, just the paranoia, the anxiety, the like pain of going through that entire movie. Like I get like I I understand the one thing that people have against it is that the special effects are not that great. True. And then you have Marissa Hargitay, or not Marissa Hargitay, Marcia Gay Harden's character. I get that she's like really over the top, but like in this day and age, like fear getting around people like that and becoming that crazy, like is that really so hard to believe? So for me, like The Mist is like the Frank Darabont movie, especially the black and white version, is like top fucking tier king for me. It's like one of one of the best. It's I would say like top 10, top 15, like king movies. Frank Darabont did such an excellent job. Yet he got stuck in director's jail because he fought for the ending. I don't know why, if that's why he's in director's jail, but it just I don't think the characters are that stupid though. But I want to be more excited for this, but I can't. You know. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like I want to be more excited for it. I'm not necessarily indifferent because I'm definitely gonna go see it because as Caleb said, anything Flanagan, I will inject into my veins. I love pretty much everything he's done, everything I've seen from him. So maybe he does something a little bit more interesting with it. So we'll see. I heard the TV show wasn't very good. That's why it got canceled after a season. But I just want something a little bit different from Mike Flanagan. So there is that. So yeah, but that's it for the for Mike Flanagan's side of this thing. Now we're gonna go into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Apparently, TMNT, the franchise expands at Paramount with TMNT digital series, Last Ronin novel, and major Mattel pact ahead of new movies. So there is the idea of Paramount really trying to use the IP they have to their advantage. They announced they have these huge plans. They have a major toy licensing partnership with Mattel, so they're going to be making toys of that. An illustrated book for middle schoolers, which can be seen here, kind of similar to Tiny Titans that DC had for a long time. I don't know if they still do that. So a novel for adults, so like a novel. I don't think it's going to be a graphic novel. A preschool targeted digital series that's going to be on YouTube, and themed pizzerias opening in Santa Monica, Monterey, Monterrey, Mexico, and Sao Paulo, Brazil later this year. So that's definitely interesting. So it looks like they are like considering that it seems like, David Ellison really wants like to have all the IP. So he's like, okay, let me try to like double down on all the IP we have. Although canceling a Last Ronin movie for some reason, I don't know. It seems like wanting to buy Warner Brothers and then not doing a Last Ronin movie. It seems like David Ellison is allergic to money. So that's interesting. Uh so it's so the things that are coming out is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splinter's Dojo, middle grade illustrated novel from Scholastic. It's going to be available in September. So and also it's not really teenagers, it's more like pre-teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Then we have the Mattel thing, so they're going to be doing action figures, play sets, vehicles, games, collectibles, all that stuff. They are going to be doing Mutant Mayhem 2 after the film. I think, when did that come out? Like 2022, 2023?
I want to say it's been 2 or 3 years at least. It was the Seth Rogen led project. I think they're still working on a sequel to that.
Anyway. And they are working on an untitled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle live action / CGI animation hybrid film, because that worked so well the last time. So yeah, it's cool, I guess, but it just like, I don't know, it just feels like you have all this stuff that's like kind of cool, like, oh, you have the pizzerias and a couple things that are expanding in multiple demographics, multiple things, and it's just like, I don't know, it just feels like you just don't want to be doing the thing that people really want to see. So it's just like, just give me a Last Ronin movie, dude. Like, that's all I fucking like. Do like with like Into the Spider-Verse level animation, and that's all you need to do. Like, just give me that, and we're Gucci.
I mean, like, look, I think that I had some like very like hot take reactions to this, but few points. I don't think they're doing anything that Disney or Warner Brothers or any other studio would do with franchises in terms of merchandising and other collaborations or, brand placements or restaurants that are themed after the IP. That's okay. I think that's par for the course for any studio and what they want to do with their IP and how they want to monetize it. Where they seem to have a bit of a blind spot is, like you said, we have seen a lot of stuff, from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We had the Michael Bay movies. We had the ones in the 90s. We have, the Seth Rogen one they're doing a sequel to. Great. The first one did relatively well. So I think that's good. That's a good move. Build on what's been working. But the whole, canceling The Last Ronin, and then now what they want to do with just, again, what seems like is more of the same of what we have seen from the Ninja Turtles before. In terms of the new movie series that they've greenlit, and then what they're doing with Paramount on Paramount Plus, there is seemingly some blind spots there with not paying attention to what Paramount has already done and what has worked and not worked. Now, that being said, it's good to see. Look, you can mock them because they're like, yeah, what few franchises they do have, they have to maximize it. But you can't blame them for that either. But sure, I mean, Paramount doing this with Ninja Turtles, at least this current leadership of Paramount is putting Ninja Turtles higher up the priority poll than the previous, team did, because Ninja Turtles felt like a forgotten part of the IP, ladder or whatever you want to call it that Paramount had, like in terms of what they do have for big franchises.
Well,
Ninja Turtles should be front and center.
Nicely, so. Caleb, we gotta give it to you. So.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, look, you can't blame them. I feel like as a business is a good move, but
yeah,
as long as they learn the right lessons from whether it's success or failure that comes from any of these moves, that's what will matter. I do appreciate that we're gonna get more, that we get more Ninja Turtles in all aspects of our lives. I think that's something where restaurants aren't easy to run. That's totally fair. But like, we don't know how exactly they're going to run that, like whether it's going to be franchised or working with pre-existing restaurants or opening brand new ones, whatever the case might be. So yeah, and then the Mattel deal is going to be huge. having a whole new line of toys and action figures like Mattel, come on, that's gonna make money. I think that's firmly
100%,
like
100%.
that's probably the most profitable and highest revenue generating.
And I will say, if I were to take a guess, now I could be wrong on this, maybe they go into it a little bit more in that announcement. I'm willing to bet they're probably like pop-up places, like kind of like how Los Pollos Hermanos was like during that time when there was like the 10th anniversary of Breaking Bad, they did like a pop-up restaurant,
right?
And then it went away. So I'm willing to bet that it's most likely going to be a pop-up restaurant because, as you said, they're hard. So, you know.
Yeah, it's like it's basically a brand integration, you know, or activation, whatever you want to call it. So
I'm sure they're gonna do a thing with like Pizza Hut or Domino's where it's gonna be like, hey, let's do this, and then it's gonna be like they have like branding, and then it's gonna last for like a month, maybe a week, or however long pop-ups last. And so yeah, I'm willing to bet that it's probably gonna be a pop-up because like Paramount's not gonna fucking shovel all that money into there.
Like Paramount is not in the restaurant business. Let's just. Yeah, and besides, it's the movies, and like I said, the Mattel thing is probably the biggest moneymaker of all of those things that they're doing. So, and I do like that they have a multi-pronged strategy for this because it's one of those things where, like I mentioned, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles haven't quite gotten that franchise treatment in the same way that Marvel, DC, or even the Power Rangers right now, like what they're trying to do. They're trying to build a whole universe and then, you know, more than just like one series at a time. So. Yeah, I like that they have a grand plan for this, and that's a good move on the part of the studio and the current leadership. And you know what, credit where credit's due. Doesn't mean it's all going to work out, but if it works out, then there's a lot of money to be made. And we all love Ninja Turtles, especially if they're able to do something new and unique with it, which I guess we'll find out. So you know, that's yet to be figured out. So we'll see.
Okay, but. That seems to be it for, you know, Movie Talk Madness, because now we're going to get into our next thing, which is MCU Weekly. So let's move on to the MCU side of things, and we're going to be talking about, of course, rumors, because we love talking about rumors. And the rumor...
I love rumors.
And, our favorite character, spoiler.
I love spoiler.
We're going to be talking about Avengers Doomsday rumor revealing details on the X-Men status quo and Magneto versus New Jersey, maybe plans. But according to My Time to Shine, so take it with a grain of salt, Sir Ian McKellen's Magneto will clash with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, and that's described as the most epic fight in the film and maybe ever in the MCU. All right. Calm down. The most epic fight ever in the MCU. Could it be that the Lord of the Rings icon was referring to when he recently said that the Master of Magnetism destroys New Jersey? We'll see. The Scooper has also shared a familiar rumor that we can expect from the X-Men status quo when we're reunited with them. They write, the X-Men and Avengers Doomsday have survived countless incursions, each one nearly wiping out their universe. They're exhausted, broken, and have sacrificed everything. Every incursion forces them to send their members to another Earth to battle its defenders and erase that universe from existence before it destroys theirs. Which could be interesting. It brings in a whole layer of the like fight for survival that the X-Men usually do, and now they're doing it on a multiversal scale, which is definitely very, very interesting, possibly. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, that kind of sounds something they could do, because I remember that feeds into another rumor that was like, oh, that's going to lead to them fighting the Avengers, and why it's going to be X-Men versus Avengers, so...
Yeah, I've heard the same reporting elsewhere before, and so it seems pretty feasible, like all around, you know, makes sense that this is how things would play out. As far as giving away the plot of the movie, doesn't really tell you the order in which this all happens, you know, when it seems like we're going to meet the X-Men probably in the first act, you know, and then this gives us the background, and whether that's revealed all at once or over the course of the movie, maybe there's a twist in there somewhere. All I will say is I guess Magneto and Doctor Doom will be like, it's my time to shine. Sorry, bad joke. You know, because it's Cooper, my time. Anyway. But yeah, I think the feasibility of this is pretty high. Like it seems fairly likely that this is the way they're going. And then So in terms of like whether you can believe this rumor or not, again, until the movie comes out, there's only so much stock you can put into it. But all things considered, it seems pretty on point. So yeah,
In
it doesn't
comics,
give away anything.
Come on, is this your first day on Earth, buddy? Seriously, come on. But that's not the only rumor they have. But apparently, there was another rumor that Marvel Studios was going to scrap plans for a major MCU debut in Avengers Doomsday. But it seems that according to Daniel Rickman, different scoopers, aka Daniel RPK, even though they were looking to cast Ghost Rider for Avengers Doomsday, he's not currently in the film, so I guess they changed their minds. This, I feel like he's kind of pulling it out of his ass a little bit, because it's like, why would they cast Ghost Rider in it? I don't know. I don't know. It just seems
it's the idea of it's not falsifiable, because nobody's. I mean, unless Kevin Feige comes out and says this, like 3 years from now, like, oh yeah, we were considering putting him in there, or like it turns out like the director of an eventual Ghost Rider movie in the MCU says they were gonna do it in Doomsday once upon a time. So until if or when that happens, nobody can really falsify this. This is why I would say, yeah, I mean, sure, they could have probably had, I don't know, like Hulk's, black and white cousin in there too, but they also didn't make the cut in the final script.
it's like, it's like, oh, remember that, like, oh, we were gonna put Morbius in the first Blade movie, and that never happened. So it's just like, okay, yeah, sure, why are you telling us this?
Sure.
Who gives a shit? So, I don't know. It just seems like a weird thing to mention, and it's just like, okay, cool, we could have gotten this thing. Why are you mentioning this? And source, trust me, bro. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah. In terms of finally some good fucking food, brand new day news. Apparently, CinemaCon will surely feature the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day. We've been talking about leaked trailers, and then editions. We were just talking about that, a couple days ago in regards to the addition of a slightly changed trailer. So, with that, as we've talked about CinemaCon before, it takes place from Monday to Thursday in April, and Sony, Marvel, Warner Brothers, Disney. This, if you don't know what CinemaCon is, we've talked about it last year, where it's essentially a convention for movie theaters and owners, studios, and like movie theater owners and chains and stuff like that to talk about trailers and things for that specific business.
It's more also like a trade convention, so like you'll see booths and like vendors there for like companies that make seats for movie theaters or popcorn machines and stuff like that. But the studios show up and do a presentation is primarily for theater owners, and not just like the big chains, but also a lot of the mom and pop ones. And you usually get sneak peeks and entire sometimes they screen an entire movie. I would say probably more likely what's to screen this year, because it happens in April, so they usually don't give away anything that's coming out more than a couple of months out in terms of screenings. I would hope that maybe they can give us a surprise screening of Supergirl, but more likely you might get a Toy Story 5 screening. Usually a movie that people might not be as sold on, but like they want to push a little bit, because then the theater owners will further drive them the word of mouth before the movie comes out, because they're like, we saw it, it's great, it looks amazing. People can get a pass to go to CinemaCon, but unless you're a press member, even if you are a press member, it still costs over $1,000. But if you are not a press member and you don't have an official credential, then
you're drawing. You have no right to fucking say anything in regards to spelling. So
yeah,
shush.
But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony does put their trailer out for Spider-Man Brand New Day there. That being said, a lot of stuff that got put out around CinemaCon or during CinemaCon, that usually doesn't make it online. So if they do release I mean, that's also not always the case. Sometimes they release a trailer at CinemaCon and no journalists are there, so then they'll put it online as well. So it's very possible. I wouldn't be surprised if the Odyssey got a screening, at the CinemaCon as well. So Brand New Day, I'm definitely, this is Sony's biggest movie of the year, so they will definitely give us at least a look, if not a full ass trailer, because it looks like they've already got one mostly done. So why not, give the people a look at it? But it won't be public necessarily, and it will be up to Sony to put it out theatrically afterward. But yeah, we'll see.
Very nice. But now we get to the real real good fucking food. And that's Spider-Noir, baby. Let's fucking go. We did get a trailer that was never officially fully released online, but it did get leaked, and there's still some copies floating around on YouTube. So Spider-Noir, which is the spin-off to Into the Spider-Verse, which features Nick Cage's Spider-Man, but now it seems like that it's a kind of sort of a spin-off, but but they did release some first look pictures of the show in both black and white and color, because it is going to be released simultaneously in black and white to reference, the period piece noir vibe of the original comic and what was going on in Into the Spider-Verse, as well as a color version for all the fucking losers who have to see color everywhere because they're losers. So we did get some, look at how fucking awesome this looks in black and look how fucking cool. And just okay, it's kind of, but look, that's fucking cool. The black and white looks great.
That almost looks like Batman from the Snyder Cut, right?
Yeah, but this will be actually good. So. But it just looks so fucking epic. It looks so awesome. I'm so excited for this. This isn't the only thing, but we got this, which again also looks great. We have Nick. I'm pretty sure he did his own stunts as well.
I can see it. With extra vision, you can see it.
Again, look at that. Like, Nick Cage in black and white always looks good. The fucking opening scene in Renfield, the best part of that fucking shit house.
Is it just me, or is he starting to resemble Francis Ford Coppola more and more by the day?
Maybe. But he did describe. I remember he did describe his role, and we'll get into that in a second. But it's also fucking amazing. No, I was born in the right era. I'm about to see the toppling of the United States of America, so that's interesting. Oop, did I say that out loud? Anyway, so then we also have
interesting is
Robbie
one way to
Robertson
describe
is
it.
going to show up in the show with, I forget this actor's name, the guy from New Girl and Game Night. I forget the actor's name, but he's playing.
Somebody
Robbie
will
Robertson.
tell us. Yeah.
Robbie Robertson is going to be in the show, as well as, of course, Lee Jun Lee as Cat Hardy.
Oh,
very much on the nose.
Okay.
But again, look at the fucking cinematography here. Yeah, that looks pretty cool, but just the black and white looks so much better. But the thing is, the reason that this looks good, because I can tell you it was shot for black and white. You could tell when things are just when it has a thrown on film, for instance, Godzilla -1, amazing movie. But the black and white just does not look good because clearly that movie was not made to be filmed.
Exactly.
Well, something like Mad Max Fury Road, that looks great in black and white because that was intended to be filmed for black and white.
Yep. Because certain colors. Right, go ahead. You're going to say, yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, if you don't know in terms of shot composition, cinematography, lighting it's a very different art form almost to shoot stuff in black and white versus in color, because you have to change all the lighting. You have to change certain colors look better in black and white in terms of how the clothing looks. For instance, there's a famous shot of somebody took a picture of the old Addams Family set, aka the big goth family, and they had to shoot it in pinks and yellows because that would look best on black and white film for TV at the time. So you have to
even
do
now,
it in a whole different way, and it shows that they are shooting this for black and white, but they have the option for color. And it looks like some color shots, especially this, I will say this color shot does look very good. It looks like they're kind of jacking up the hues and colors a bit. Again, kind of giving it more colorful feel, which I prefer rather than brown muted tones in fucking Wicked and Wicked for Good. So yes, stuff like Werewolf by Night, that was intended for black and white.
Remember, they shot a few, I think it was at least 1 or 2 episodes of WandaVision in black and white, or there were moments throughout the show that were in black and white, and there's some, like, there's false colors, like, so certain colors, the way they show up in black and white, like, you in color it might look like red, but in black and white it's like certain color, like I think it's green or red or different shades, they'll look almost the same shade of gray. So this you need to sort of change the way you think about costumes and props and just color in general, and then when you're trying to do something that's going to be, primarily done for black and white and then also seen in color, I bet you they're doing some, like, a lot of color work to, like, then enhance the color image, because, or maybe even change some hues, because the way it's shot in black and white, and that's why you see a lot of reds, because a lot of reds and warmer colors show better in black and white than, like, a lot of the cooler colors. So it's going to be interesting to see, because there's a lot more work happening under the hood with something like this than people give it credit for. And then, like, with black and white, you always, like, contrast and lighting becomes even more important, because you don't have color as another tool in your toolbox to tell that story. So yeah, like you said, John, the way they shot like a Citizen Kane versus the way they shoot like a movie in color, it's completely different processes, whether it's on film or digital. So yeah.
That's why a lot of colorized movies just don't look good. Everyone looks weird, gross, and sickly. Is because they're kind of, one, they're kind of overdoing it, and two, it's just like they're kind of just guessing on what the colors were at the time, and it just doesn't, look good.
Yeah, because like the film negative
that was
doesn't
not
reflect
intended,
that,
because that was not intended for what it was at the time. It was intended for black and white. So.
But even this, I don't know if they're doing this on film or not, but regardless, like the process that goes into conversion, and I will give credit to Zack Snyder. I mean, look, if you watch the Justice League movie that he did on HBO Max in black and white, you can tell like that they did the mastering process for black and white, and then they also obviously did the color version. So I appreciate that about that part of the process, and then Snyder having a respect and reverence for it. Obviously, Christopher Nolan, you can tell has that kind of similar sensibility, and seeing that here, John, this looks amazing. It looks amazing. It looks fantastic. Can't wait for it. It looks spectacular.
But that's not the only thing we've gotten. But we have a whole bunch of details on various characters in the show, like why he was changed to Ben Reilly and the such. While this likely has nothing to do with Sony's deal with Marvel Studios to share the web slinger, showrunner Oren Uziel tells the site Peter Parker feels very synonymous with a high school kid, boyish on his way up. Ben Reilly has already gone through the entire arc and has seen it all. He's over it and trying to move past it, but his past kind of keeps coming back to haunt him. It's just a different version that we haven't seen before. Executive producers Phil Lord and Christopher Miller also addressed the change. This character is very different from the Peter Parker from the movies. He's older and jaded and not afraid to punch a guy in the face drunkenly. He's already had his Chinatown disillusionment moment that happened years and years ago. I have to be coy about the reasons, because you'll find out, he continued before Miller added, the reason he's named Ben Reilly is, although Reilly here is spelled wrong, is explained. We'll leave it at that. So for all the people that are kind of complaining, that's like, oh, why are they changing this? It's like, well, maybe there's more of a reason than Sony being like, you can't use Peter Parker because he's this character, and even though it's the same character, you can't do that. It seems like it's not that, so it looks like there is more of a reason, but there's a little bit more in regards to stuff in regards to Silvermane and other characters and Flint Marko Sandman. But in all the great detective stories, you have two cases that sort of come together and you realize you're actually working the same thing. He's a guy getting dragged into a much larger fight that he doesn't really want to be a part of. Silvermane is the big bad, so that's, good to see. But what's happening to Silvermane connects back to Ben's past and gets him spiraling deeper and deeper into his own origins. Lamorne Morris, that is the actor who is Robbie Robertson, and he's going to be a freelance journalist. And Ben's ally, Janet, meanwhile, is played by Karen Rodriguez and serves as the privatized trusted secretary. And then you get to Lee Jun-lee's Kat Hardy, nightclub chanteuse, who lures Riley into the underworld conspiracy at the heart of the series. She is indeed a new take on the Black Cat, aka Felicia Hardy. And she's Rita Hayworth, who was so great in Gilda and Lady from Shanghai, and then a little bit of Lauren Bacall, because Bogey and Bacall go so well together, as Nick Cage has mentioned that he based a lot of his role on Humphrey Bogart, because of course he has. There's some Kim Basinger from LA Confidential in terms of how she fits into everything. She's an amalgam of a lot of different things, and it's just like, guys, you already got me into watching the show. You don't have to fucking convince me more. Bro, you don't gotta convince me. I'm already here for it. I am already bended at the knee for this goddamn movie. You don't have to do anything else. You don't gotta do anything else. It's okay. It's okay.
You know, I've got a theory for why the character is called Ben Reilly.
Okay.
Because in the National Treasure movies, Nicolas Cage's character's name was Ben, and his best friend's character name was Riley. So there was it's just a secret homage to National Treasure, and maybe, you know, Nicolas Cage winking at us and saying, "We're getting a National Treasure 3, Ben Reilly." Just saying.
I mean, the character of Ben Reilly is older than the entire franchise of National Treasure, so I don't think that's it. But like, sure, that's maybe your headcanon, and that's fine. Interesting bird noises. Okay. Yes, it's coming out sometime this year. I think it's gonna be 8 to 10 episodes. I forget what, but if you don't know, Oren Uziel, he has worked with Lord and Miller before. He worked with them on 22 Jump Street. He also worked on Freaks of Nature, Shimmer Lake, Cloverfield Paradox. He did some uncredited rewrites for Sonic the Hedgehog. He worked on the story for Mortal Kombat, but not the, actual script. And he did The Lost City, as well as working on Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Borderlands Stray. So he's worked on some really good stuff and some really not so good stuff. But I have a lot of faith in this. This is going to be 8 episodes. Okay, so it's the classic, 2 little episodes that leaves us clamoring for more, but it's somehow going to take 6 years to make the next season.
Well, I hope not, because like Wonder Man, I feel like 8 episodes felt perfect. Like I didn't feel like they didn't tell enough story, So there's always a good runtime for every show. It's just Disney Plus used to do it in like a weird way because they didn't even have real showrunners, So like people who didn't actually know how to make TV shows were making them. So, but you can always you can have a 30-minute episode that feels like it's a full meal, and then you can have a 50-minute episode that feels incomplete. So I would just say we'll see how it turns out.
Yes, this is going to be on Amazon. Yes. Mm-hmm. It's going to be on Prime. But also Steve Lightfoot is writing an episode, and you'll recognize him as the showrunner for the Punisher show. So he's coming back to the world of Marvel. And it's not like I don't want to watch Memento. I'm just busy, all right? I'm watching things at the theater, catching up on new releases. There's only so much I can do in a fucking day. For $1 a day, guys. But so much I need to do. Okay, I have so much. I got videos to make. I got shit to catch up on. I have promises to keep. All right, not a lot. If I could do the Groundhog Day thing for a year, I'll watch every movie I need to watch. So just calm the fuck down. All right, goddamn. Anyway, so we
No, dude. Yeah,
I'm super excited for this. This kind of goes off of some stuff that has already been said, but this, he's not gonna be referred as Spider-Man in the show. He's just the Spider. This is Nicolas Cage talking about the show, and he's like, I first met on this project with Oren a couple years ago at a place called Boteca Bottega Louie in downtown LA. I was explaining what I had hoped, what my dream with this concept would be. We could take a 1930s film noir style, meaning the manner of speaking, the Howard Hawks quick dialogue, and mash it into another icon in the Marvel realm, which would be the spider element. It would be like Roy Lichtenstein collision of art appreciation. Oren loved the idea, but it wasn't something that we knew right off the bat necessarily would work for both of us. It wasn't until we went to the first read through that I could tell the powers that be were very intrigued by it. It really wasn't 100% clear to me until I saw the 8 episodes. I think we got there as challenging as it felt at the time. I did look in terms of, inspiration for this iteration of the character. I did look at Cagney, Edward G. Robinson, but when you watch Bogart and you watch everyone around him, he almost seems like a cartoon character. The same thing happens here, but it's brilliant and you can't take your eyes off the guy. It's what makes him so compelling and charismatic. It almost seemed larger than life. So there have been a lot of people working on this. Brendan Gleeson is also in the show. Jack Houston, Abraham Popella, Legion Lee I already mentioned, and as well as a ton of other people that I will not be. You got Andrew Robinson, Lucas Haas. You got so many people in this show, and it just, goddamn, dude, I'm just so stoked for it.
I never thought that this would be as big of a this is a prestige show project. Like, this isn't like Sony kicking the tires on something like what they were doing with the Spider-Man related movies. So I can't wait to see what this turns into, and I would love to see if this is going to win any Emmys, because damn, Nicolas Cage did his research. So yeah.
Well, I mean, it's been known that Nick Cage is a huge old Hollywood fan. He's a fan of all types of like art. I mean, he's so fucking weird, but like that's what makes him interesting. He's unique. Like, he's such a fucking weird guy, but he like whenever it's just like he's just has one of those voices, and the way he talks and like about the things he loves, the passion he has for this filmmaking industry. It's just like it's just so interesting. Like, I remember, he was doing the fucking, answer the internet fucking thing where it's like the Google, and he like makes like a story out, kind of like Michael Caine in The Dark Knight. Reggie's like, hey, Alfred, what do you want for breakfast? And then he goes into a 90-minute spiel about like, I had this friend and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, but like here, it's like actually interesting. You want to hear like Nicolas Cage just talk about this stuff for hours, because he's just like, he's the type of guy that can make the phone book interesting. So it's just like his 100%. Endless love for all these things that he's invested so much time into, like putting all these old classic like things. Like I remember there was a moment in fucking Drive Angry, which is like exploitation crap, and he's like, what if I do this reference to Paradise Lost at the end of the movie? And it's like, of course Nicolas Cage would fucking think of that, and it's so great. And
of course, we're not talking about the DC would-be TV show Paradise Lost. We're talking about the classic movie Paradise Lost.
Milton, story. Yes. But yeah, I'm so fucking excited for this. Like this, and it's just like, it seems like outside of the comics, because it seems like Marvel doesn't know what to do with Spider-Man in the comics. Like everything outside of that, it's just, they hit it. Like Brand New Day, I'm a little skeptical, but for the most part, it looks like a film I am actually interested in seeing. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man Season 2, Beyond the Spider-Verse, Spider-Noir. It's just like, Spider-Man fans are fucking eating good. Like the ultimate line with the comics, which is what everyone wants to see, like 30-year-old Spider-Man who's married to MJ with kids. That's what like we want to see. But but the Marvel editorial is run by morons, so but it seems like Spider-Man fans are eating good, and it's very, very exciting. But you know what else is really exciting, Dan? The quick hits that are very quick. So
you ain't gotta tell me twice. I'm in. Let's do it.
Yes. Let's get into the quick hits. Britney Spears apparently has sold her music catalog, other rights to Primary Wave. Thoughts?
It's like an indie label. I think they also have bought other other catalogs before. I forget. There's some names in this article, some big ones. I think Justin Bieber. Was it Bieber or somebody else? Anyway, I'm sure she got a lot out of it, and good for Britney. I don't know. I personally can't speak to it because I've never had a catalog of music that was worth a dime. So that, like, was my own. So anyway, good for Britney. It's
Sure.
Britney, bitch. Except now she doesn't own that. So.
And then David Ellison is still crying. Paramount Skydance says it will pay Warner Brothers Discovery an extra $650 million per quarter if its WBD takeover isn't completed by the end of 2026.
I think it was like 50 cents per share, which works out to 650 million if you add up the value of their entire offer. They also agreed, now they're saying, look, we're going to pay the $2.8 billion breakup fee with Netflix, which is, part of the obligation Warner Brothers would have if they decided to break up with Netflix. And then they also said that they were going to cover like a $1.5 billion debt refinancing fee that Warner Brothers would have to do if they were to like get out of the Netflix deal and then do what they got to do to work with Paramount. So they've also extended the deadline of their latest version of this tender offer till March, and then Warner Brothers is expected to vote in a meeting on the Netflix deal with shareholders.
Well, he's literally late March the owner, or April, so they can't fucking do that without like a mutiny. But like
So I mean, look, here's the thing. Paramount Skydance looks like they're not going away, and this was interesting because they definitely put up more money this time around rather than just talking about why their deal is still superior, which they do still talk about it. Warner Brothers Discovery's board said they're going to consider it and then get back to their shareholders with a recommendation, but as of right now they say stick with our previous recommendation, which is vote for the Netflix deal. So it's still an uphill battle. It does help a little bit, I feel like, but look, the fact is they're talking about an extra 650 million per quarter by the end, by after the end of 2026. So they're playing the long game. This just means that the value of their deal goes up once this year is out, and if the Netflix deal hasn't gone through, which they also said that their version of the deal, they've gotten regulatory approval for it, the latest version in Germany, and they've already been working with the US regulators. So if Warner Brothers were to switch to Paramount from Netflix, Paramount has already been getting the ball rolling. So Netflix hasn't said anything about this yet, but we will see. Yeah.
Yes. But next up, Michael Douglas says Wall Street director asked, "Are you doing drugs because you look like you've never acted before in your life?" Then Douglas won the Oscar. So go fuck yourself, Oliver Stone. But yeah, we had a little bit of news the other day in regards to Wall Street, and I guess there's more news in regards to this movie that nobody talks about anymore. But but yeah, so it just goes to show that a movie is truly not completed until it's the final cut. Because, everyone said the same thing about Christian Bale in American Psycho, where they're like, dude, this guy's terrible. And then he made, it was genius. So, just goes to show, until everything is said and done, you can't really say anything about the performance.
They said everything, they said the same about Michael Keaton as Batman. They said the same about Heath Ledger as Joker. It's happened so many times now. It's just just let it happen first and then judge it based on that. So yeah,
but definitely interesting read because it's wild. But that's not the only thing. Netflix has some stuff. But Stranger Things, The First Shadow Broadway play to be filmed for Netflix release. So if you really, really, really wanted to see this, then you're gonna be able to see it eventually. I don't know why anyone would, but sure.
I mean, look, Disney's done this with Hamilton and a bunch of other stuff, and they've had great success. So Netflix must look at it and be like, we're gonna want some of that success, let's do it. So if that's any measure of what Disney has done with Hamilton and other Broadway shows on Disney Plus, this could do really well. So yeah.
But next thing is still going on the Netflix train, but Netflix releases One Piece season 2 trailers. So if you're excited for the next season of One Piece, for at least the live action adaptation of it, then boom, there you go. Cool. Anyway, Ana de Armas and
I haven't seen it. I'm not caught up. Sorry, I have a couple of kittens. And they're having
but
those zoomies right now. So
Ana de Armas and Jennifer Connelly circling Apple series safe houses. This is definitely a show that will be beautiful. I don't know if it'll be good, but we'll see.
I was like, you know what? I'll have some of that. So yes, I'll have some of that.
But yeah. Now the Criterion Channel has acquired the Perfectly Estranged Oscar nominated documentary starring three donkeys. A friend of mine, actually all my friends watched this and they all said it was dog shit. So, you know, cool. If you want to go watch it, it's on the Criterion Channel.
This is the perfect headline for a quick hit. I was like, we cannot not talk about this. So yeah,
I one pieced out of that horror. I mean, considering, okay, I will say from what I've heard from like actual anime nerds, they were like, this isn't as bad as it could have been. It's
a
not
low
great,
bar,
but they're like, surprisingly, it's okay.
It is. That's what I'll say. It's okay, having seen season 1, but it could be so much because you just can't replicate the anime look without replicating the anime look. And anyway, but it's a low bar, and they cross it. And we have heard all. I mean, you know, all the hype around the new characters we're gonna get introduced. So yeah, excited to see One Piece, but like three donkeys. Perfectly Estrangedness. Cool.
NBA's Spud Webb, the 5'7" slam dunk champ, to be subject of documentary. So if you were actually interested in this, then they're gonna be making a documentary. No, I haven't seen Sorcerer, but yeah, I don't know who this guy is. No.
Oh, Spud Webb. He's probably like the best short basketball player of all time. The dude was 5'7" and won a slam dunk contest in the 90s, bro. That is not something that people were known to do. Come on,
a short king, then.
Like,
you know?
yeah.
So.
I can't wait for this. This will be fun. This will be lots of fun. Sorry, I'm trying to like pay attention, but like I have a couple of kittens now, and one of them is having the zoomies.
Yes,
so I'm just trying to keep track.
Yeah, Wages of Fear as well. I know both are considered great. But next up, Doctor Who. BBC appears no closer to figuring out the show's financial woes, because the whole thing with the Disney deal that helped them, because with a combination of, I think, England revoked, like the government or whatever revoked their like license to you know get money from the government or whatever, so they're struggling financially and they're trying to get Doctor Who back. Disney helped, but now Disney cut off the deal after they realized, oh yeah, this niche sci-fi show that almost no one knows existed isn't a moneymaker. Crazy. So, you know, now they just have to continue on and see what is going to happen. So they're just trying to figure the show out. And even though they do have a Christmas special that is in line for this year, they're still kind of like iffy on the whole thing and whether or not the show will continue proper. So yeah, it's a shame, but
it's unfortunate, but that's a lot of money to replace in your budget, because Disney was putting up a good deal, a chunk of change, especially to make it like feel like a prestige sci-fi streaming show, you know. And maybe just go back to the roots, you know. Sometimes when you're back in the corner, that's when you do your best work.
And, you know, like good writing, and you can make it work.
But John, look, the Doctor Who has lived through literal wars in the real world. I think Doctor Who will survive and thrive eventually. It's just a matter of...
If they can survive, oh, what is her name? What's her name? If Doctor Who can survive Mary Whitehouse, they can survive anything. So, yeah. Also,
fair enough.
Speaking of, fuck Mary Whitehouse. Anywho, next up, Masters of the Universe behind-the-scenes photo features new look at Camila Mendes as Teela and Nicholas Galitzine as He-Man.
I saw this.
So, there they are. And I think the only thing good about this image is Camila Mendes' ass. I don't really care about anything else.
I will say this, the more I see Nicholas Galitzine as He-Man, I'm like, he's it. That's it. I mean, he's got the physique. Like, it can't be exactly like the cartoons, but it's about as close as they could have ever gotten it. And, well, you know, that shot, that's a good angle on Camila Mendes. So I'll just say that.
And here's like a wallpaper image with Men-at-Arms. You got...
I mean, that's He-Man looking That's He-Man looking like He-Man.
I mean, everyone claims that he sucks because he's not like as big as a fucking elephant. So
like nobody's, it's just unrealistic expectations. I feel like that's about as good as you're gonna ever gotten any actor to do that, you know. And it's just
unless you get to them like fucking dehydrating themselves like over the course of the entirety of
or
filming,
or exactly, or you get one of those actors who then you like, you know how they did it in, what was it, Free Guy, or what was the movie that Ryan Reynolds did?
Yeah,
where he literally they paste his face and using AI and other technology, you know, tech and VFX on this like a different dude. Unless you do that, you're not gonna get it down, and that's too expensive to do for a whole movie. And it defeats the purpose of what He-Man should be.
Although speaking of big muscly men, we have Highlander. A set video reveals brutal clash between Henry Cavill and Dave Bautista's Immortals. So we did look at these pictures a couple days ago, but we have more. And then Siobhan Cullen as somebody on set in London, and then you have the. Should we play this or should we not?
No, yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't have to watch the whole thing, but yeah,
they're on wires, and goddamn, this looks really fucking cool.
It does. Lie. It looks fun. Oh my god, I watched this like 3 times over. I was like, this looks great. By the way, to answer Figure Drawing's question,
who's done a lot of like behind the scenes, like kind of filming that. And a lot of wire work, apparently. I didn't expect there to be so much wire work, but damn, this looks fucking cool, bro.
Yep. It looked great. I mean, it's also the way they do it is the glass in the car is rigged to blow at the same time that they're dropping onto it. So it's not like they're causing the glass to shatter, but they time it so that it feels like it, especially from the camera angle that it's being shot at. So, but that's, you know, Hollywood magic, movie magic, as they call it. Loved seeing this and would love to see more of it. And the movie itself. Figure Drawing, to answer your question, which movie makes more money, He-Man or Supergirl? I want to say right now, it just depends on probably which one is coming out around what competition. Let's see. Masters of the Universe is coming out a week before Disclosure Day, but it comes out a couple of weeks after Mandalorian and Grogu. I want to say Supergirl, simply because people have seen Superman. So that's why. But yeah. All right. Moving on.
But yeah. Next quick hit. Ariella Barrere replaces Odessa Asian in A24's Deep Cuts following whitewashing casting backlash. The Marty Supreme star's casting sparked controversy as she was originally slated to appear as Zoe Gutierrez, who is described as half Mexican and half Jewish in the original book. Odessa Asian decided herself to leave the production after realizing this information, where it's like, how do you not know, like, Gutierrez? Hello? How do you not realize that? But she didn't realize it, and you know what? She's like, I'm not dealing with this shit, so she left, and then they got an actual Hispanic person in, but like, I mean they did get it, like Odessa Asian is Jewish, so they did get half of the character, but you know,
I mean, it's just a very specific casting requirement. I personally wouldn't mind either way, but look, it's good. It's better for representation purpose, and you know, not just purposes, but in general, like you're trying to get an actor who's more closely aligned with the character, and therefore the acting choices they'll make will line up
because
better.
They're like, hey, she's not Mexican. She's like, oh, okay, and then left, and they got a new actress. Boom, there we go. It wasn't really a controversy, just like people are saying it's back. It was just like, hey,
it's a non-controversy.
Come on, non-controversy, exactly. I was like, that's it, and then boom, you move on.
Yep.
But next up, Catherine Zeta-Jones to star in Tate Taylor's Cupid. She will star in as an unorthodox marriage counselor in the new psychological thriller from The Girl on the Train director, considering that was not that great of a movie from what I've heard from people who read the book and watched the movie, but maybe this will be better, and Catherine Zeta-Jones is always a win, so yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones as an unorthodox, I'm going to say that again. Catherine Zeta-Jones as an unorthodox marriage counselor is exactly the type of bed dream I've probably had a couple of times. Can't wait to see this movie. So, yeah.
Nice. But next up, Nick Jonas joins Body Man from Homefront director. Cool. I like Nick Jonas, but I don't know what the fuck any of this is. So yeah.
I mean, the director doesn't have a good resume, and this. I mean, although the director has worked with Jason Statham before, so there's that.
AKA, we know that he doesn't have a good resume. So, but final thing, which is definitely the Jesus fucking Christ, why portion of Quick Hits. The Disney board says new president Dana Walden's early objectives include exploring incorporating AI into movie production and improving profits generated from Disney Plus. And she has said, like, oh, but we're not replacing people. We're just integrating certain things to make all the things and the blah, blah, blah. And go fuck yourself. We're just like... Disney
well, I mean,
just...
they've already made a big bet on AI, so I'm not surprised.
It's just like, when you hit rock bottom, the only thing you can do is dig. So, you know, I'm not talking about profit-wise. I'm just talking about morale-wise. It's like, we know that Disney sold their morale a good long time ago. So, yep.
I mean, this is also from a bigger report, so we're just talking about a couple of elements here. But yeah,
yes.
I mean, Dana Walden's got a lot of things she's got to do as the new chief creative officer at Disney. So, yeah.
Correct. But that is it for the news portion. Now we're going to head into DCU Daily. So let's get that intro going, and let's be #blessed.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see chords.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto. Hunka hunka!
Hello, welcome to DCU Daily, guys. Now we're getting to the stuff that people are really excited to see. Welcome. I am, of course, your host, John. Let's get that in there. We also have Dan here from the beginning. #blessed from the beginning.
Hello.
We have so much stuff to talk about, Dan. Well, not so much stuff. We have a couple things to talk about. I don't know what you're excited to talk about, but I'm excited to talk about a couple. I'm excited to talk about Batman fun facts. I don't know.
Yes. No, I want to talk about that Slate update that we were going to get into. That's going to be the last thing we get into, but yes, I want to talk about that because I have a thing or two to say about that. Especially the veracity of those claims, but yeah.
Let us first get into the ducks, pelicans, and parrots of DCU news, the quick hits of DCU Daily. And the first thing is a couple Batman fun facts. I like talking about fun facts. I thrive on fun facts. So let's get into some fun facts about Batman. So he first debuted in 1939, 1 year after Superman in 1938, because everyone was like, hey, we want another Superman. And Bob Kane was like, here's some guy with bat wings. And Bill Finger was like, hey, what if this was good? And then Bob Kane's like, okay, I'm going to take credit for this until you die. And then go fuck yourself. And fuck Bob Kane. But yeah, so Bill Finger created everything good with Batman and made him into the hero he is today. So yeah. Next up, speaking of, the original Batman design featured a bright red suit, bat wings, and a simple domino mask until Bill Finger transformed the character into the darker noir-inspired Dark Knight, inspired by characters like Zorro and the Shadow, into the like darker detective-driven hero who was smart and not just, you know, a guy with powers just punching people and stuff, which Superman kind of started out as, but a very much different type of superhero instead of just doing the same thing over again.
Exactly.
But yeah, Batman was much darker when he first debuted and even carried around a gun. This has been well known. And then they were like, hey, let's not do that. And pretty much when they introduced Robin, they pretty much got rid of all aspects of that of the character. No, Bob didn't draw anything. He hired ghost artists because he fucking sucked at drawing. So, you know, fuck Bob Kane. But according to Forbes, Bruce Wayne is worth $7 billion.
That's not much by today's standard. I mean, I don't know if that's standards. I don't know if that's adjusted for inflation, you know. But hello, Angelica. Yeah.
I'm sure that
Hat
we
with the
don't know
gat.
when this was stated, but yeah.
I'm like, that can't be a justice for inflation. Gatman.
But
Gatman.
Bruce Wayne's name comes from King Robert the Bruce of Scotland and Revolutionary
Scotland.
War hero Anthony Wayne,
Glorious.
who is later made canon as one of his ancestors. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll be telling Fiona about that one. Yes.
Robert the Bruce is a very famous person in Scotland, which is interesting because, you know, Henry Cavill, who played Superman, ironically, is now, you know, playing
Highlander. Yeah.
Highlander. Anyway, there can be only one. But
there can be only
next
one.
Up, there's an actual Batman course called The Science of Batman at the University of Victoria in Canada. So if you wanted to,
I gotta go check that out.
So I was aware about this. So yeah, it's definitely a very cool course. I've heard.
I'm just gonna be using these at parties. I'm just randomly gonna bring these up. Thank you, Eric. That's a great idea, actually. This is great stuff.
But yeah, and then next up, Bruce Wayne holds partial ownership of the Daily Planet because they have made several jokes about like, I pay your salary, clerk. So shut the fuck up.
I mean, also in BVS, isn't he like? I'm from the Daily Planet. And he's like, oh, is that one of the ones that I own? I like that.
Right.
And that clear reference to the comics. Again, Terrio and Snyder. Anyway.
Yeah. And then, so
That's
Batman
it.
fan, you won't regret following this page. And then they use, you know, Batbane with the Bat Axe. So with the Bat Brick logo. So very nice.
I still think those, like, the ears could be deadly. Like, you can literally just use them as a ram, you know? Like, it would make sense.
Or, like, just grab one off the top of your head and just fucking stab somebody with it.
Although I wouldn't want a sword going down the side of my... That could have other potential... Like, if you get into... Anyway. And now we're thinking too hard about this.
But DC Official did this funny little thing on Threads where name a DC villain that you'd defend for the rest of your life. And then the Batman Threads account was like, I'm taking notes on these answers, so... watch yourselves. So, very cute. Very nice. Batman has prep time. But Jorge Jimenez, famous artist for DC.
Batman's always watching.
The Superman Spider-Man crossover is coming next month. And I'll just say one thing. Stay tuned tomorrow, friends. I promise much more. So, we are going to be getting a little bit more teasing in regards to this wonderful little crossover, which is... mirroring the first ever DC Marvel crossover in comics, which was with their two popular heroes, most popular heroes at the time, with Superman and Spider-Man. So yeah, that's very exciting. I don't know if you're gonna read this, Dan, but I might try to read it.
I'm gonna try to get my hands on it. Definitely interesting, and I would love to see how it turns out. Definitely, agreed.
And then, of course, more comic stuff is Batman, Superman, World's Finest, number 47. This has been written by Mark Waid, and you know, they have the cover is by Dan Mora, another amazing artist, as well as plenty of other people in the credits that I can't name off. But yeah, this is, oh god, look at those suits, beautiful. But yeah, I've heard good things about this comic.
Looks amazing.
Batman, Superman, World's Finest.
I love the blue of the two going together well. I just didn't think that would become as complimentary as it is.
I love that Bat S logo as well. I think that's pretty great. Then you got the punks, because I'm a punk rocker. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Then you have the amalgam of both. You know, Batman, Superman, and looks like Joker and Lex Luthor. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I might actually start reading that. I gotta ask some friends to see if it's good or not. But yeah. And then the final quick hit is people with the Swamp Thing photo that was, you know, that James Gunn posted a couple days ago. Somebody tagged Vincent D'Onofrio saying it's your turn to join the DCU with a smiley face. And he's like, you know, tell Gunn he knows I'm a huge fan, which is like... maybe like 20, 30 years ago, I'd have been like, oh yeah, let's have Vincent D'Onofrio as Swamp Thing. But it's like, bro, you're fucking too old now. Focus on Kingpin. Like, I want to see Derek Mears come back. He was only Swamp Thing for a season. So I want to see him come back because, like, he's the guy that's usually underneath all the makeup. And he's a big guy. He usually does, like, more stunt roles. He was, you know, Jason Voorhees in the Friday the 13th remake that from, you know, about 20 years ago. So yeah, Yeah, no shit, because it's like, oh, this guy's really, really good. Let's have him on everything. So, hello, what's up? What's up?
What's up? Anyway.
So yeah, maybe I'll finally give it a read. I know I have, because I got it with the Legend of Kingdom Come thing, DVD that I backed on Kickstarter. It's around here somewhere, but I don't know where I put it. I would have to look for that, but I did get, I don't know if it was, I'm pretty sure it was Batman Superman World's Finest #1. So I do have the book, so I can start reading it. Yeah, so typo. What?
That's probably another typo. Cool. I mean, look, Vincent D'Onofrio wanting to play Swamp Thing is chef's kiss. Would love to see it. It's just a matter of if they're going to have even a director or a story for him to work with. Like you said, though, John, it depends on, well, I guess if they're doing a one-off, maybe it might work, but otherwise, I don't know if Vincent D'Onofrio
focus on work. Don't focus on this. Just don't like get like fired because of us.
Yeah, but thank you for watching while you are doing that. Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio. Would love to see it.
Work it. Anyway.
There's probably like a million other characters I would love for him to play. I would love for him to show up in the Batman Part 2 out of nowhere and just be like a detective and be his like criminal intent, like Law and Order criminal intent version of the character. He just randomly abuses like somebody in an interrogation room. Yes. And when I say abuse, I mean like verbally abuse. He didn't like, like on the show, he was known for like just grilling the suspects really, really hard. So
right.
Wow, that sounded.
I know what you mean.
Never mind.
Sorry, so I'm just trying to find it.
We're just trying to catch some Yush Burner accounts in the chat, by the way. If you guys find a Yush Burner account, let us know. We will ban him. I just saw another one pop up earlier. So
gotcha. But that's it for no more quick hits. Now we move on to the regular DC news, which is talking about Slate stuff. Kind of, sort of. It's not like an official slate. This isn't by James Gunn. It's just like, hey, this is maybe the thing that's like maybe a schedule. So we're gonna. The only like first one is the only thing that's like official is like one this year and then like one on another year. So let's get into it. First thing, obviously, this year we have Supergirl coming out June 26th. Lanterns, which was originally supposed to come out either like right before or right after Supergirl. It's probably going to be around the same time when Peacemaker Season 2 came out, which was in the summer, in August, most likely. And then you have Clayface, which was originally September 11th, but then it got pushed back to October 23rd. Makes more sense. Horror in October, always a good thing. So, thoughts? Like, the year in the DC's year.
No, 2026, like I said, it's a pivotal year for the young DCU and DC Studios as well. You got 3 projects that James Gunn has not written or directed, but he alongside Peter Safran have been shepherding as producers. So, and Peter Safran's been a producer for like decades. So like he knows what's up and he knows what he's doing. It's more about James Gunn on the creative side of things. And we really need these to hit, because James Gunn has built a lot of cachet with the fans with what he has done so far in the DCU, but everything has been directed by him. Well, more or less been directed or produced or written by him in some capacity, or sometimes in all of those capacities. So you want to see what it looks like when James Gunn is sort of more in that Kevin Feige role, where he is, shepherding everybody along, empowering the creatives to do what they want to do. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that gives us the same kind of results that when James Gunn is doing it himself, because he took the job with Peter Safran because he felt like he could do this. But James Gunn had never run a studio before. There's a learning curve to this. So I wouldn't be surprised if 1 or 2 of these projects don't quite hit or underperform, because that would be a learning experience for James Gunn. And he's got a lot of good people. I mean, he's got Kevin Feige as well to lean on for they're still good friends, even though they don't work at the same company anymore. But it's a pivotal year, because now we get to see what this DCU is actually about, when it's not just James Gunn directing something or writing something or producing something or doing all 3 of those things. So yeah, I mean, this year will be a big year for Marvel and DC. And while Marvel, I think, ultimately will steal the headlines, so far, DC's got a solid slate. Those are 3 strong projects, 1 TV and 2 movies. And the big thing I love about them is all of them are different in terms of their budgets, what they are as projects, what they're meant to be, the tone. Clayface will feel like a creature feature horror kind of a movie. Supergirl is a summer blockbuster. Lanterns is a HBO show. Like, those are 3 very different kind of things. And so I love the diversity as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is definitely a good year for DC, even though I'm not excited for anything outside of not Lanterns, outside of Clayface. I am, at least like partially excited for Supergirl and very much excited for Clayface, not for Lanterns. But it's very different. You do have cosmic Earth stuff, and then a combination of the 2 with Lanterns. So like that, I feel like that's kind of an interesting sort of vibe to go for. So, but this isn't the only thing that we're going to be talking about is 2027. The only thing that's like pretty much official is Man of Tomorrow, and Batman Part 2. Everything else is like maybe gonna come out next year, most likely, but we'll see. But it said Jimmy Olsen was going to be filming soon. Mr. Miracle, Tom King talked about casting people. And then James Gunn said they're working on Creature Commandos, so it's more likely than not that those are the things that are coming out in 2027. 3 shows and a movie for specifically the DCU, and then you have the one Bex-related content of Batman Part 2. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, but
well, this is, I went on this post and posted that a comment saying a lot of these projects, especially from 2027 onwards, some of this stuff is complete speculation. Mr. Miracle, we're speculating is going to come out in 2027. They don't have a date for it. It likely, yes. Man of Tomorrow has a date. The Batman Part 2 has a date. Creature Commando Season 2, we'd expect it to be 2027, but not really sure. Jimmy Olsen is the least defined one of any of these, because there was reporting around, a listing from one of those Hollywood like insider resources that they might be filming Jimmy Olsen, the show in Atlanta starting later this year. Cool. Does that mean it's coming out in 2027? Doesn't have to be. I mean, and even if it is, you got to remember they're not trying to hit us with too many of these things every year. You want to probably, I think that what they say, like 2 movies and 2 TV shows a year, more or less. Right. Especially when you consider that Mr. Miracle, Jimmy Olsen, and Creature Commanders are all going to be canon to the DCU. And then the only thing that's not canon to the DCU is going to be the Batman Part 2. So there's probably going to be room for 1 more movie from the DCU in 2027.
Maybe.
Although, if they have the Batman Part 2 coming out, they might just be like, those are 2 DC projects, and we'll just leave that there theatrically.
Yeah.
But I just want to point out the 3 TV shows are
a movie with a
not
TV
guaranteed.
show, since there's 3 TV shows and 1 movie. So
right,
that
exactly.
seems to make sense.
Yeah.
Then you have for 2028, the only thing that is 100% confirmed is Dynamic Duo, which is coming out apparently June 30th. Everything else is up in the air. Booster Gold.
That's a date. That's a real date. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they did. Yeah, they did confirm that.
They did.
But literally everything else here is up in the air. Booster Gold, there's a showrunner attached. I forget who the name of the guy is, but he is attached.
Yeah. But they took over from somebody else. Remember, it was Danny McBride's team was working on it, and then they came in and took over.
Yeah, then they left, and then somebody else came in.
So there's that.
Then you have Wonder Woman. We just know Anna Aguirre is working on the script. Waller, I think Crystal Henry and Jeremy Carver are working on scripts, but like we haven't heard anything in regards to that. Then Brave and the Bold, we just know Christina Hodson is working on the script, and Andy Muschietti may be still interested in the movie, but none of these are confirmed for 2028 except Dynamic Duo.
I mean, look, I think
not
on
going to be in the DCU, by the way.
Exactly, and then like this post here kind of implies that these things are like this is a big slate thing, which is the exact opposite of what James Gunn and Peter Safran have been wanting to do. They've been trying to avoid. This is the kind of thing they've been trying to avoid from day one. with what Kevin Feige and Marvel used to do. Even Marvel doesn't really do that anymore because they have, had regrets with like Blade and other projects. So
Armor Wars.
Star Wars. So, and of course the
Armor
DC
Wars, not Star Wars.
Armor Wars, right. And the DCEU infamously did that slate announcement at Comic-Con, 2016? And then more than half of those things didn't happen. And then most of them, that did happen got delayed a lot, like The Flash, for example. Yeah. So I just want to put that out front. Like, that's the reason why they're not doing this over at DC officially. So this post here is a nice overview of maybe what to expect in an ideal scenario. But And while this slate in 2028 kind of lines up with the ideal annual output that DC studios have in mind, which would be 2 live-action movies, 1 animated movie, 2 TV shows. You've got that here. Waller and Booster Gold will be TV shows. Dynamic Duo is the animated movie. Wonder Woman and Batman would be the live-action movies. But that's a lot to turn around, John, for just 2 years from now. Because realistically speaking, if they were going to have a Wonder Woman movie and a Batman Brave and the Bold movie coming out in 2028... we would start hearing about, script finalized, director confirmed, or, confirmed to still be attached, or hired in the case of Wonder Woman. And then you would be going to production on it probably early 2027.
Soon,
So, or late 2026. It's not too late for that stuff to still happen. It's still only February of this year, but it's speculation is what we're trying to say. The only project that has a date that is confirmed for 2028 is Dynamic Duo, which even that, James Gunn and Peter Safran have made it pretty clear. If they don't feel like it's ready to go by then, it could move. And by 2028, remember, guys, Netflix and or Paramount would be the owners of Warner Brothers. So at that point, depending on if there's changes coming down the pike from an organizational standpoint, who controls what goes where in terms of releasing, Dynamic Duo could change. I mean, that's probably one project where I'll be looking at, like, if they don't feel like that's good enough to put out in theaters or put the kind of marketing budget they would need to put it out in theaters, put it on streaming, maybe put it on Netflix, whatever the case might, or put it on HBO. But yeah, I would love to see a Wonder Woman Batman movie in 2028. We don't really know if there's any other live action movie in 2028 for DC right now. And I bet you they're trying to fast track at least one of those 2 for 2028, but it's not confirmed yet. So just want to point that out. Right. It would be great if all these did come out in 2028. It would be pretty epic. Especially because Marvel would be just coming off of Secret Wars, and then you'd be doing an X-Men movie, a 3rd Black Panther movie. So yeah, would love to see how all of that stacks up against what DC potentially has in store. So yeah.
But there's a couple more slides in regards to this. Again, so Sergeant Rock, Paradise Lost, The Authority, Swamp Thing, literally 2 of these are either canceled or on the brink of cancellation, with Paradise Lost was allegedly canceled and totally 100% dead and focusing everything on the Wonder Woman movie. The Authority is pretty much halfway dead because James Gunn said now he wants to work with stuff people already know, with only 1 or 2 weirder things that not a lot of people know, and maybe save the weirder stuff for TV. So The Authority at the very most is going to become a TV series or a TV movie or special presentation, whatever the fuck it is. So there's that, and then Swamp Thing, which again is kind of on the fence because it's, you do have James Mangold attached to write and direct the movie, but again, Paramount deal, all this other stuff. James Gunn claimed he was still interested, and he did talk about it, I think, when he was doing press for A Complete Unknown. So there's that. And then Sergeant Rock did have Luca Guadagnino attached with his Justin something or other, the writer for Queer and Challengers, who was going to write Sergeant Rock, right. And then either the vision, either it was creative differences that fell apart, I think it was and then Colin Farrell was considered to play the main role after Daniel Craig either denied it or was never on the short list.
It was mentioned though that it's kind of on hold, it's not completely
it's
dead.
Kind of sort of maybe on hold,
till this summer.
It might get picked up by another director, because I think Luca Guadagnino wanted to get started like filming this year before, or no, late last year before winter hit, because then it would be too cold to film. So, and he had other projects, and he's like, I'm gonna go do those, and then he left Sergeant Rock. So, so these are all like either halfway dead or fully dead, or just kind of like in limbo at this point. So none of these are probably going to come out in 2029.
I was just gonna
Paradise Lost definitely isn't.
Yes.
The Authority probably isn't. Swamp Thing maybe isn't, and then Sergeant Rock maybe isn't either. So
I was just gonna say this part here, 2029, like you said, is almost complete speculation to almost misleading everybody,
like
because
an untitled series. So
like that untitled series, like anything that is untitled is simply just a slot that's up there for a hold. And then with the series, it's even less, of a sure thing, because with movies, they're holding time on the release calendar, so other studios don't, try to release something that same day, or they at least know there's a big DC movie potentially releasing that weekend, plan accordingly. But with a TV show, there's no reason for them to just be like, we'll just do it the next year. If it's you might as well not have it there. And like you said, everything about Paradise Lost, The Authority, and the Swamp Thing and Sergeant Rock. It just goes to show you, James Gunn and Peter Safran, they're playing their cards pretty close to their vest, and they haven't given away much. So 2020, by the time we get to 2029, there's really not much that we know about what's going to be releasing that year, other than the stuff that they already announced, which doesn't have release dates and or has been canceled or is on the shelf or in some kind of holding pattern, like you said, John. So, yeah.
But then we do have one more, and that's, pretty much a whole fucking bunch of nothing. The only thing that maybe is a thing is the Teen Titans, because James Gunn said Anna Naguera is writing the script, but it looks like she's focusing on Wonder Woman right now, so that's probably going to be in development hell. And where the fuck they got a Justice League movie from is insane, because, like, James Gunn said, I have no plans to do Justice League anytime soon, because I want to focus on all these other things first. So it's unlikely that, like, that's fucking happening. Like, I don't know where they put, because at least with all these other projects, they were announced, they were talked about, and they're still kind of in limbo. Justice League, literally, they're like, we want a Justice League movie, so we're going to insert it into this, like, slate thing we invented, as well as two untitled series and an untitled movie.
Which is like, where are these coming from? Is this based on the idea that they want to do, like, a certain amount of TV shows, ideally, or movies a year? Which, if that's the case, then sure. But again, that's more of an aspirational goal for them, that they put out, let's say, 2 TV shows a year, 2 live action, 1 animated,
Waller
1 animated movie,
was
2
a couple
live action movies.
Allegedly, they put in their terms of the slate, they did put in 2028. Starfire and My Adventures with Green Lantern. They're mainly talking about DCU and Beck's stuff, like stuff that's DCU, stuff that's Beck's. My Adventures with Green Lantern is the My Adventures universe.
For Superman,
and then Starfire is its own thing. So
those aren't connected to the larger cinematic universe.
I don't know what to call it, but I'm calling it the My Adventures universe. It's My Adventures with Superman, then My Adventures with Green Lantern. So they're not really doing the phases thing. This is just some random fucker on Threads, essentially. It even says it's DCU Worlds on Threads, and then Dan coming in and setting them straight.
And then they were like, they responded, and I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, because I feel like you didn't understand any of what I said. It's a projection. That's not what you said in your actual post. I'm just going to put it out there, because if you guys come across this, because this is the same account that, like, did an April Fool's joke on a February 7th saying, oh, the Batman Brave and the Bold script has leaked, and, just total fake, like, pages, which, it's pretty obvious once you read it, but I'm like, it wasted 5 minutes of my day.
They couldn't even bother to do proper formatting on that either, so it's like,
right. I'm like, what the hell? Like, just pointing it out, DCU Worlds, if you find them on Threads or wherever, just be careful, because most of this stuff, it's hard garbage or clickbait, straight up. So, yeah. And, I mean, it's very easily, bought into by people who may not be in the know. So we just want to kind of, like, put this out there and kind of go through it and sort of debunk some of the falsehoods there, and then also just kind of talk about what we do know about any of the projects that are on the way. Now, again, there are some things probably in the works at DC Studios. You got 6
likes on that too, so
twice as many as a reply. But
ratioed anyway.
I was just gonna say, there's probably other projects like a Dead Man thing, maybe a Katana thing. There's other projects that James Gunn has talked with Zatanna. Sorry, Zatanna.
I don't think they have a Katana thing though.
I know, like different character.
character.
But there are other projects in the works that James Gunn and Peter Safran haven't even talked about, or there's been speculation around that might end up being, end up on the slate, quote unquote, sooner than some of these other ones. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get a Justice League movie until like 2032 to 2035, because there's so much of this stuff they gotta do. I feel like James Gunn is trying to do like a trilogy, quote unquote, of Superman movies. So yeah, this is Katana. She's got my back. I'm like trying to scream over like the sound of the chopper. Ratio King, thank you, Caleb.
This isn't the only thing. I mean, we do kind of have like one more thing in regards to slate stuff, but like in terms of future movies coming out, kind of it relates to the slate a little bit. But Deadline has named Supergirl one of their most anticipated films of 2026, so that's nice. Like sort of ending on a more wholesome note than guy pulling shit out of his ass and fucking calling it real. But so that's nice. Deadline saying most anticipated of 2026. Woohoo!
Yeah, like the key again, a little bit like don't misread it in the sense that it's not like it's the most anticipated. It's one of the most anticipated.
Yeah.
And even this, it's a slow news day, guys. So a lot of this was pulled from an older article. This isn't something that Deadline just put out there very recently.
Right.
So just again, just a caveat, a little bit. Just keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will go watch Supergirl. It's gonna be in the top 10 for most people in terms of like big blockbusters they want to go check out. Because if you count them, you got the Odyssey, you've got, of course, Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, you got Brand New Day, Spider-Man Brand New Day. I should just fit to the whole names. Toy Story 5. There's a Mandalorian and Grogu, Project Hail Mary, Clayface. You can count it because it's another DC franchise thing. What am I missing? Disclosure Day. All the big Super Bowl trailers minus Scream 7. Nobody cares about that. Or Cliff Booth because it's going straight to Netflix. Minions and Monsters. Like top 10. Supergirl's in there. How high up? That's debatable. Maybe like halfway up. Maybe in the bottom 5 of the top 10. But it could move. But it could quickly move up the ladder, especially at the box office and with critic scores being high. If that is what happens when the movie comes out, but we'll have to wait and find out. We're not there yet. Until then, though, John, I believe that's it.
Yes.
But we're not done yet for the night because
Ride's
we got
not over
Tuesday.
Yet.
Ride's not over.
Gotta
yet.
celebrate Black History Month properly with the best Black.
You guys voted for
Marvel, DC, and beyond. So, of course, we will be talking about that. Give us like 15-20 minutes. We got to set everything up. And we will get that to you hopefully sooner rather than later because it is very late. So we'll try to be quick with it. But thank you for watching DCU Daily. Get ready for Tier List Tuesday. It's going to be a banger. And remember to be anticipated for Supergirl.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto. Hunka hunka!
And fuck Tom King and Jeff